I've got to just break away from Arsenal for a moment because I'm just hearing some fairly big news actually from Chelsea, because Liam Rossini is giving his news conference now, which we're going to bring to you very, very soon. He was asked about Enzo Fernandez. Remember that he has now twice talked about potentially leaving Chelsea and said that he would like to live in Madrid. Well, Rossini has said that he has, quote, crossed a line, Enzo Fernandez has, and he will not be selected for the next 2 games. That's the FA Cup game tomorrow against Port Vale. And remember, the next league game is against Manchester City at home. And Fernandez will not feature in either of them. So Liam Rossini has said that Enzo Fernandez has, quote, crossed a line. So before we hear from Rossini, Rob, I do want to ask you about that. That's quite strong management, because Fernandez is a key player for them, and he's saying, no, he's crossed the line, he's not playing. It's basically an internal suspension.
If you thought that Liam Rossini is not strong enough to make big decisions, there you go.
But that was it. Oh, they're hiring a yes man, they're hiring a yes man. Well, clearly not, because he's standing up to one of the best players.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is somebody who's gone for 100 million, over 100 million. So
he's been captain when Reece James hasn't played.
Correct. And that's why Enzo Fernandez should know better. And I'm a big fan of Enzo Fernandez, but there's some things you can and can't do. You cannot say that you want to leave right when there's pressure on the manager, when there's pressure in your season. You're the one, and you've been captain in that position as one of the leaders in the dressing room. Now you don't lead that way. And that's why he's effectively, Liam Rossini has said, listen, that is not how you lead.
Do you agree with Rossini's the action he's taking?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's clearly, I would hope he's had that conversation with him and given him exactly why. And Enzo Fernandez has got to take it, unfortunately, because maybe he's been caught. And I've been in this position where you've gone out of the environment of Chelsea Football Club and you're now international and you have these kind of interviews, and sometimes you can say certain things that, or be a bit more relaxed in terms of how you answer your questions and your answers. But he's made a big error, Enzo Fernandez. You cannot say that.
Is it because he's done it twice?
Well, absolutely, yeah.
It's twice. Because sometimes... See, Marc Cucurella had talked about potentially going to Barcelona, but to my knowledge, that was only once. Maybe Fernandez has potentially had a warning and now done it again.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because once you can do it, I mean, you can also get misquoted. That's easy enough. And also sometimes you answer in a way of, well, I mean, it would be something flattering to go to this football club. And you leave it at that. This is my football club that I'm working with right now. And it goes by. But I think once you kind of say it a couple of times and you pretty much disrespect the football club and the coach and your teammates in terms of, I don't want to be there almost, I think that's why Liam Rossini has made this big decision. I agree with it, because I think sometimes you have to make those big decisions, and he's made the big decision.
Well, so that was on Enzo Fernandez. So just to recap, Enzo Fernandez has, according to Liam Rossini, quote, crossed a line, and he won't be available for Port Vale in the FA Cup at the weekend, and he won't play in their next Premier League game against Manchester City. I did mention Marc Cucurella there.
Liam Resenoir says Enzo Fernandez will not play in Chelsea's next 2 matches because of the comments he made about his future in links with Real Madrid. Resenoir said, I have tried to waive the comments as a coach, but for a player to keep sparking the world of sports with such comments, even when he knows he has a contract with the club, is really not a good thing for the manager and even to the whole squad. Resenoir said he has been making these comments since after the club's defeat to PSG in the UCL clash, so for the good of the team, he should be out for some time. Liam Resenoir says Enzo Fernandez will not play in Chelsea's next 2 matches because of the comments he made about his future in links with Real Madrid. Resenoir said, I have tried to waive the comments as a coach, but for a player to keep
And 2, actually, he's kind of saying, I agree with you, and watch what happens this summer.
Well, it's no surprise. Chelsea have got one of the youngest squads in the whole Premier League, now full of talent, and a lot of them have been signed for big money. Well, we know where they are. They are early. They're not experienced. I think where Marc Cucurella has gone wrong is he's been out of line in terms of making that public, because that's not your conversation. That's the manager's conversation. That's the football club, the director's conversation. That's not for you to say. And also, what do you know about where we are going next? Now, understandably, of course, Chelsea needs some experienced players. But guess what? Marc Cucurella is one of them. Is one of the experienced players. So you should know better. Now, that's a conversation that you have in the manager's office. And yes, you can be very open and discuss it. And I think Liam Rosenior is correct in that, in terms of, yeah, come and speak. That's a conversation we have in, you know, when you're in your job and you're in kind of the football club, that's a conversation you have in the office. That's not a public conversation. The manager can let that out. The manager can have those conversations, but not you as a player. Yes, you can say where Chelsea are in terms of, you know, the position, and yes, doing well, not doing so well. Now they just got battered. What it's done is it's heaped more pressure on the manager and more pressure on you, the players, and also more pressure in your next few games and the next couple of months as Chelsea Football Club.
Cucurella, by the way, is available. All right, it might excite the Chelsea fans what Liam Rosenior there has said about the summer, actually, in the transfer business. But we can bring you Liam Rosenior's news conference, the best bits, very, very soon.
Let's just get the injury bit out the way. I guess Reece James was the one you thought might be available post-international break. How's he getting along?
He's getting along really well, but not ready yet. Not ready yet. Trevor's progressing really, really well as well. Levi, it's really good to have him back in full training, but it's going to take a few more weeks. He needs to tick those boxes. But no, we've got a pretty fresh group. Esteval, Jamie Gittins is back, which is really positive going into the running.
And in terms of sort of Reece, maybe an extra week, so City game, is that a possibility for some of those guys?
I don't know. We work day to day, so I don't want to give a timeline and not come through with that timeline, put pressure on those players, but they're all working really, really well at this moment.
Seems like, not just for you, but for quite a few clubs, the international break has given players an opportunity to, shall we say, speak their mind a little bit. A few stories have come out. It feels like about 2 seconds ago I was asking you about Enzo Fernandez and those comments post-PSG. He's spoken again and was asked, obviously, about if he wasn't going to live in London, where would he be? Just further kind of building this momentum around a narrative around Madrid. What have you spoken to him about those comments again? Because last time you defended him, and I wondered what had taken place this time.
I spoke with Enzo an hour ago. As a football club, with me as part of that process, we've made a decision. He won't be available for tomorrow's game, and he won't be available for Manchester City on next Sunday. I think for Enzo, it's disappointing to speak in that way. What I will say about Enzo is, in terms of him as a character, as a person, I've got no bad words to say about him, but I think a line was crossed in terms of our culture and what we want to build. So we had to make a sanction, and that was a decision we've made.
Could you talk about this unity? And we've obviously seen that, haven't we, on the pitch? You know, how disruptive can that be to what you're trying to do here?
It's not ideal. I think a lot of this stems from, we had a really, really difficult 10 days, probably the most difficult 10 days of my career as a player or a coach. We had, I'll go back to the first game against PSG, the belief in the group and what we were doing. The performance was top, and it all fell apart in 15 minutes. And there was a huge emotional dump from that game, which I think fell through to the next 3 games that we played. Why was there such a big emotional dump? Because the players were so motivated and had so much belief that we could do something really special in the Champions League this year. I feel like not just the comments from Enzo, but Cuckoo's interview as well, stems from that. It actually stems from a good place where they want to do well, they want the club to succeed. But in those moments, I think we need more emotional stability as a group of players, from me as the head coach, as a football club, so that we don't respond in the way we have done to the setbacks we've had.
I'll come on to Cucurella in a moment, but just in terms of Enzo, was that your decision, the club's decision, or is it a case of some of the players saying, actually, we're not comfortable with this? And he's been your captain the last few games.
No, Enzo, firstly, as a character, as a person, as a player, I have the utmost respect for Enzo Fernandez. What he's achieved in his career, the player that he is, He's frustrated because he wanted Chelsea Football Club to be successful this year. He still wants that, and we still can be. In terms of the decision, I've said this from day one, it's not all about just me. It's not all about the sporting directors or the ownership or the players. We are aligned in every decision that we make. So it was a joint decision. And saying that the door is not closed on Enzo, that's very important. It's a sanction. You have to protect, especially this football club. This is a winning football club with traditions of success. You have to protect that culture. And I think in terms of that, the line was crossed in the international break.
As far as you're concerned, when you had that conversation with him, is he happy here? Do you get the sense he is here for the long term, or is he looking for that escape to Madrid?
I can't speak for him. What I do know is when he's been on the pitch, even at Everton, when we lost the game, really disappointing performance. There was no lack of commitment in his performance. There was no lack of wanting the club to do well. In terms of speaking for him or what he wants in his future, that's not for me to speak about. I want to focus on a massive game tomorrow, where if we win, we can make an FA Cup semi-final, and I want to focus on us still making the Champions League, which is a big possibility.
You mentioned Marc Cucurella there. I mean, he was, I guess he chose his words quite carefully. He sort of, you got a sense, if you read between the lines, of the frustration, that there's clearly a group of older players that don't believe they can maybe win in this current structure that you're working in. Is that a fair assessment of those comments?
No, I think, again, fantastic conversation with Mark yesterday. Half an hour in my office. The disappointing thing for me, what we're trying to create here in my time, I've only been here for coming up to 3 months. I can't speak.
Feels longer, doesn't it?
I'm enjoying it, even the difficult moments. I want players, I've said to them from day one, if they've got any issue with how we do things, to come and speak to me and speak to the sporting directors. My disappointment in Mark's interview is where it went to. I think he should have spoken to us first about the things that he's feeling. I want players to feel like they can speak openly and honestly for the benefit of the football club. And those conversations we've had with Reece James, that's why Reece has signed a new contract, because he believes in where we're going. And as a football club, we know we need to improve, myself included, and we actually know what we're going to do in the summer to achieve those objectives.
Just finally on that, why do you think that Mark doesn't feel that he can speak to you or one of your maybe many sporting directors? Do you think that he's just unaware of where the kind of power lies within all of this? Everybody
knows Marc Cucurella, knows his character. He's a great character. He's passionate. He wants to do well. I think for him, he did an interview, a long interview, where he spoke with passion, he spoke his mind. Yesterday, while I was in the office with him for half an hour, was to remind him, you can come and speak to me. You can be honest with me, and you can be honest with the club about what you want. But that takes time. I've been here for 2.5 months. We've played 20 games. So to build those relationships and those connections takes time. But Mark is fully committed. He wants to be here. He's made that very, very clear to me. And he actually believes in where we're moving forward. And just finally for me, I guess you and I both know this noise goes away when you win and when you're playing well. So with that in mind, a cup, an early bit of silverware in your Chelsea head coach career can go a long way. We've seen that with other managers starting out. So just how important does tomorrow become? I mean, this becomes an absolute nightmare if you don't go through. Yeah, well, we want to win. It's not about me. I've said that. It's not about me winning silver. It's about this club being successful now and in the long term. And to do that, you have to go through difficult moments. You learn a lot about the characters in your group. And I'm talking about the characters not just in the playing staff, but the support staff, coaching staff, myself. You have to go through these processes, this pain, to make sure you make good decisions moving forward.
OK, Liam Rossini there explaining his reasons for dropping Enzo Fernandez for the next 2 games, and also giving his thoughts about Marc Cucurella as well. Right, Yegana, we saw you nodding along to a lot of what Rossini has said. We've also had loads of WhatsApp messages, and most of them have been supporting Rossini. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm as disappointed as Rossini and the rest of the team, because Enzo Fernandez is our key player and our leader. So as a leader, you can't be speaking out publicly and saying how much you want to move to Madrid, how much you like Madrid. That's just sending the wrong messages to everyone. We get how frustrated he is. Obviously, he's played under 5 managers, I think, since he's joined Chelsea. He's had so many ups and downs. But as a key player and a leader, you can't be speaking things like that. And the timing was the big issue because the team is already under so much pressure. We're struggling a lot. So all you have to do, just behave and just make sure you helping the rest of the team as the captain, not just putting more pressure and more dramas. Honestly, I was so disappointed. Like, to be honest, I could see this coming because for me, Enzo Fernandez has been always passionate. He's been one of our big players. He's stepped up when we needed him the most. He's scored, assisted a lot of goals. And I was always saying he was worth every single penny we spent for him because him with Caicedo, our midfield was our biggest, positive. But I was just quite disappointed.
Would you sell him now in the summer?
To be honest, as much as I like him, but if you know a player's mind is not there and he doesn't want to be there anymore, you can't force him. Even if he stays, I don't think he's going to perform well. So if he wants to leave, okay, he can leave. Surely we can replace him. I'm not saying he's irreplaceable. We got Caicedo, we got Santos, we got Lavia. So I respect him, but if he doesn't want to be there, obviously he can leave.
Do you agree with Liam Rosenior's decision to drop him for the next couple of games?
Would
you do that?
Agree.
Would you react in the same way as a Chelsea fan?
I think because he's our captain, and now if I was expecting different reaction, I thought they would just make Caicedo the captain now, not Enzo. I thought that would be the punishment for him. But the fact that they actually suspended him, I mean, that's good because that's gonna stop the other players coming out and speaking out publicly like that. But then the fact that we actually need Enzo in the rest of the games because we got big games coming up, City, United. So I think
that's the thing. He's dropping in for Port Vale. All right.
Yeah, I don't think he was
might not
already
play anyway.
played.
But Man City.
City,
that's a big one, especially when you need to get top 5.
Exactly, that's a big decision. So again, it's good in a way, but I think it's just the wrong moment. That's what I'm saying. The fact that he just came out, speak out at this time is just the biggest problem. So hopefully, I mean, I'm glad at least Lavia is back. We have got Santos and Reece James is out, so we might struggle a bit. And
who's going to be captain?
I think Caicedo is going to be the captain.
Oh, okay.
Because last time when we didn't have Enzo and James, Caicedo was the captain, so I think that would be the choice.
So with Cucurella, he is available, all right? I mean, he's only done this once before, and he was sort of questioning the transfer policy, etc., at the club, rather than just saying he wants to go. Do you think that Cucurella should have been punished as well?
Not really, to be honest, because all he was speaking was facts, and I think every single player, every single fan was agreeing with what he said. Because what Enzo said was just like you mentioned, Cucurella only spoke once. Cucurella done it a few times. That's why it was very frustrating. But with Cucurella, he sounded a lot more professional, and he said it in a way that he wants to help the club, and he thinks what is wrong. But again, that's not the right place to talk about, especially at this time. But I think the way that Enzo already spoke, that kind of gave Cucurella more courage to come out and speak like that, which is not right. So I'm glad he's not suspended because honestly, with our left back situation, we really need Cucurella. We can't really replace him anymore.
He did say Barcelona would be hard to turn down.
Exactly.
Cucurella. So there are similarities with what he said.
So he did say the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't
club.
blame him. But again, because he's an experienced player, he's one of our key players, you just don't expect these players to come out and speak like that. They kind of disrespecting our club. As a fan, I don't want our players to come and on the TV speak like, oh, they want to leave the club, or they just hint to everyone that they're not happy in the club, because everyone knows. You already know they're not happy. We're not happy. They're not happy. So, but you don't need to say that because, again, we're under so much pressure, and then we have 6-7 games, important games coming up. That's literally you're just making everything worse than how it is right now. But I'm glad he's not suspended, and I don't think he deserves to be suspended. I think this talk would kind of make him realize that he needs to stay quiet and just focus on the team.
Just on that, are you frustrated with Chelsea's season after winning the World Club Cup?
Obviously, of course, I'm very frustrated, to be honest.
But you're sixth, so do you expect more than that then?
Obviously, yeah. I think we had a good season last year. We won 2 trophies, and under Maresca, I thought we are finally getting into that rhythm and we can finish. My prediction was to finish second or third, but I didn't know we're going to struggle for top 5. And I can only blame the owners for that because they didn't get us the right players. We didn't get a centre back, and they sacked Maresca in the wrong time. So all those kind of things, it was just so unexpected, and I'm very frustrated.
I feel actually in 6th, Chelsea are achieving where they should be, to be honest. I think I think it was very unlikely that they were going to get more than 6th.
But that was very pessimistic.
That was a needless dig at Chelsea.
No, that was honest. They've just come off the World Club Cup, played a lot in the summer. Those players have played a lot, and then you arrive
I get
now.
your point, yeah.
Because those are younger players, and also some of those players are not a consistent, Arsenal or Manchester City, and now you've also got a lot of injuries this season. And the other thing is a lot of indiscipline, lots of red cards, lots and lots
These
of red cards.
are the things I wasn't expecting, to be honest. These are all like, it came out of nowhere, all the red cards, like all the injuries, obviously. I mean, every season, every team has injuries, so it's going to be always there. But all the injury, all the red cards and sacking managers, I was quite hopeful. I think most of other fans were. We knew we were going to get at least like top 4 Champions. They're going to be like 100%. But, as a Chelsea fan, I'm used to all these changes every season. Like,
will they be in the? Do you feel like they will be in the Champions League, or they'll drop off?
I'm a very optimistic person. At this point, I don't want to lose hope because not being in Champions League would be the last thing I want to think about. It's going to be very painful. Okay. So I just want to be hopeful and say we can finish top 5. I'm sure top 5 will get us to the Champions League. So. It's not impossible. We just have to, I feel like the rest of the games, we need to treat it as a new mini season and just forget everything that's happened, all these dramas and struggles. Just focus on this.
Well, you've still got the FA Cup as well, and you win a lot of trophies.
We got that. That's a big opportunity. Yeah. We got Portugal and...
Exactly.
I'm not saying we're going to win that.
Thanks very much, Jagana.
Thank you.